is the decriminalization of marijuana in Virginia. So Virginia in 2020 changed its law having to do with marijuana. The idea was that it decriminalized or took away the criminal punishment and, if you will, stigma of possessing marijuana. So that law, and I'll tell you a little bit about what that law is, that law took effect on July 1st, 2020. So we're in it right now in the change of law. So what that did was that it used to be before July 1st, 2020, that if you had marijuana and you were found to have in possession of marijuana, had marijuana on you, that you could be charged with, and probably would be charged with, a crime and be prosecuted as such and be found, if that was marijuana and you be found guilty of marijuana, then you would have a criminal record. So Virginia law changed that. And so if you have and were found in possession of an ounce or less of marijuana on your person, and it would be still a civil penalty, but $25 fine. But the operative word there is civil. So it would not be a criminal offense. It would not be a crime. It would not be on your record as a crime. You would not be labeled as a criminal and would not have a criminal record, and would therefore not have the stigma of having a criminal record if you had marijuana on your possession. So it is a move in the direction of totally decriminalizing marijuana, and then, at least in my opinion, moving toward a legalization of marijuana. And, a lot of reasons for that, I believe, and that is that I think, and again, these are Bettina's thoughts, so please just take them for what they're worth, which is, being on the front lines of, being in the criminal process. I've done criminal law before. I'm a personal injury attorney, but I've done criminal defense work before. I've represented folks that have been charged and found guilty of possession of marijuana and have a criminal record as a result. That it is a idea of not wanting to bog down the states and the court systems with this marijuana. We have many other bigger fish to fry, so to speak, in the drug world, heroin and meth. And you hear my dog in the background, and I'm not going to stop this video for that. That's Ziva. So I bring her to work, so forgive me for that. But so it's part and parcel of refocusing our resources, which are strained, frankly, into areas where is much more important, and more important defined as the protection of life, the protection of our court system, the protection of our resources, our money, and our medical folks too as well. And that is to say that heroin, methamphetamines, smoking meth, cocaine, all of those bigger drugs that have much more effect on people's lives than marijuana, frankly, again, my opinion, that we refocus our attention on those issues and our resources on those issues. Just for example, if a person before July 1st of last year was found to be in possession of marijuana, the court system has to prove that that's marijuana, so they have to send it off to a lab. That is a state lab, and so the state lab processes that marijuana at a cost to Virginia, and then it's returned back. Let's say it is marijuana, it's confirmed. That certificate of analysis is returned to the court system, and so the process is much more laborious than you might think it is because of the proof of that particular substance, which is in this case marijuana. So in this case, we don't have to do that. If it's marijuana and it's suspected to be marijuana, it's a civil penalty. And the state and we as taxpayers don't have to pay for that process. And then also we don't have to pay for the process if a person can't afford to represent themselves. A court-appointed attorney doesn't have to be appointed for them. Attorneys don't have to be involved. Judges don't have to be involved. That means deputy sheriffs don't have to be involved that protect the judge and manage the courtroom. So you can see that if we take away those kind of cases from the court system, that alleviates and relieves the court system from a lot of burden. And then that saves us, of course, taxpayer dollars in the end, and really allows us to focus in our attention on other serious matters. So again, those are my opinions. I think it's generally overall very beneficial, these changes of laws and our ways of thinking about marijuana. I certainly have changed the way I think about marijuana these days. And I'll just give you a quick story, and you probably have already turned off this video. I hope not, but here's my story on marijuana, and this is a personal story that I'll share with you. My aunt suffered from cancer, and it was a terrible cancer involving a small bile duct, basically, that's connected to the liver, that feeds bile to the liver. And then she got also liver cancer as a result of the metastasizing nature of the cancer. Terrible, terrible, terrible disease, as cancer is. And so what happened with her was that she could not eat. It totally took away her ability to, or appetite. She couldn't eat, basically, because of the whole process. The bile is very important for digestion, for example, and then it swelled her belly and whatnot. So when I got to see her 2 weeks before she passed, and then was, I flew out to New Mexico to take care of her will and write one for her before she passed, and I was blessed to be able to do that for her. But to see her, she was probably 75 pounds. Horrible pain, horrible agony. And it was the first time I think I've ever seen, it was the second time that I've seen marijuana in my life. And I'm an old chick, so I'm kind of old fuddy-duddy in that regard. So, my experience with drugs is zero. So I just tell you that right now. But she had marijuana prescribed to her, and as a relief for her pain and hopefully increasing appetite. But at that point, it was relief of pain. And she was in such pain, she actually, she had a marijuana, I guess, joint, and she lit it up and she smoked it. And I could see the absolute, almost immediate effect of relief, calmness. As you know, when you're in pain, you get amped up and you have anxiety, and it hurts. It just hurts, but it hurts neurologically, it hurts emotionally. That whole system calmed down, and she just was completely relaxed, her face relaxed. And, from that moment, that was in 2017, and my whole attitude around marijuana completely changed, and I could see the absolute benefit of that drug on my aunt, and that was her only source of relief at that time, to deal with the pain and anxiety, frankly. So I don't know, I offer that as a story. It was an eye-opener for me. I've always lived a drug-free life, an alcohol-free life, and I'm one of those people, and I've been an athlete all my life, and I just wrapped my head around, my goodness, this is just is a good thing, and a good drug for the particular circumstances. So I think society is moving toward that direction, which is seeing the great benefit of this particular substance on folks that have medical needs, and not just to get high. And, that is not something of interest to me particularly, but to embrace the medicinal effects of marijuana and the ability to help people. And so I'm all about that. And so anyway, I share my personal story with you. It goes a little outside what I like to do in these videos, but I hope it helps, and I hope it maybe I open some eyes that might be closed to the benefits of marijuana. Anyway, if you have any questions at all, please, I'm always here for you. Bettina Altizer Law.